Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom, back with another Disney Lorcana video. Today we're going to talk about just the state of Lorcana. We're going to look at Shimmering Skies, and we're just going to kind of do a deep dive on what we've seen thus far and kind of what maybe the future will hold. When I did my video yesterday, I was kind of down on Shimmering Skies. I was considering possibly canceling my pre-ordered case to just roll into the next set. At the time, we had like Prince Naveen. We had the Revive card, I think Archimedes. There wasn't a lot. We had the Donald Duck. There wasn't a ton that was really blowing me away with this set, and so I kind of thought like, hey, if I'm not, if there's not this huge chase that I'm really looking forward to, maybe I'll just roll over my store credit right from that case that I pre-ordered, and maybe get it for the next case. Maybe buy a box or two here of Shimmering Skies, but obviously I'm not going to any tournaments here in the near future or anything, so I don't really need any of the playable cards. So I just thought maybe take a back seat on the set, which I think for the record is completely fine to do. And then as soon as I recorded that video yesterday, more cards started to drop. And I have done a complete 180, right? We got more information, our opinion has changed, and I am all in on Shimmering Skies. So yesterday in my video, I talked about kind of the art style of these cards and how I didn't really love it. Talking to some friends, some IRL friends, they were kind of, hinted at and reminded me that like the theme of the set is Shimmering Skies. It's kind of this big party. They're all going to the Illuminary for this party, right, with the theme. And then you start looking at the colors and you start to kind of take some of it in. And I think it makes a lot more sense. I think that they are just, the art is changing, right? From the old enchanteds that we had during the first four sets to now, it's just a different concept. If it's a different style, it's a different theme, and at the end of the day, I think it works really, really well together with how they did the art. In combination with that theme, I think when you kind of look at those through that mindset, which I wasn't, I was just kind of comparing, chapter one Enchanted versus, Shimmering Skies. And I don't think that's a fair one-to-one comparison. Now, I do probably still lean, I don't know. I honestly can't even say that I lean towards the original style more now with some of the cards that we got teased. And some of them are still not even official yet, and we need official clarification. And hopefully those get released in the coming days, because I saw some like snippets on Reddit and Twitter of some my favorite cards ever to date in Lorcana. We'll get to those in a second. But some of the cards that started to come out after we finished the video yesterday, the Finders Keepers card from Aladdin. He's kind of carrying the genie up to the Great Illuminary. Once again, you think of the kind of the Shimmering Skies theme. The colors on this card are fantastic. I think the card is gorgeous overall. I know I saw some people not loving it online. I personally am a huge fan of that card just from a pure artwork concept. We know Scar then got his enchanted as well. He's a ward, 4-drop for green. I think the card is. This one isn't my favorite. I do love that the Simba in the background is there with the scratches and whatnot. I think the artist did a really good job. Once again, when you take into account the theme of Shimmering Skies, I think it's a good fit. I think Scar should have probably had an enchanted in chapter 1 over Shere Khan, but that's just my personal opinion. I love this Maui card. You're welcome. It's a song. A character with cost, form, work, and sing this card for free. Shuffle chosen character, item, or location into player's deck, then draw 2 cards. I think that's I think it's just an awesome from an artwork perspective. This feels very Moana, feels very just Maui, to be completely honest. I think that this card's going to be very, very good. But then some of the chases started to come out, like Robin Hood, for example. This art is very unique. I think this card is gorgeous. Definitely one that kind of like started to push me over the edge in terms of like sentiment. And be like, okay, like I can kind of get behind these. I think this card is really cool. And then in addition, we got there was one other one that when I saw it, the Arthur King Victorious. I think this artwork is amazing. I think they did a really, really good job on this one, and so I saw the Maui, I saw this, I started to get over the edge. I saw the location, and I thought to myself that it looked a lot better than some of the other locations. Like it seemed location enchantments, that is. seems like they kind of leveled it up again with the Shimmering Skies theme, right? The way the text box looks, and I think it just looks a lot better than some of the other enchanted locations that we've gotten thus far. So I think like the Shimmering Skies theme fits locations very well. At least in this particular case, I was not mad at this. Now look, at the end of the day, it's still going to stink to pull an enchanted location, and I think that long term, I would like to see them get rid of them. But with that being said, if they can have some, if they pick some locations that are very like playable, that's gonna help. And then as well as if they pick some like really iconic like locations, like so far the really the best one they picked is Pride Lands, from Simba, obviously, our Lion King. But at the end of the day, we need some more of like that, like some really iconic lands or locations, that I think are going to command a premium. But if not, they at least need to be really, really good or playable in the meta. And so this one, Badanon, Villain Support Center, Badanon, it looks really good. And I think that they did a better job than they had in the past, specifically with enchanted locations. So all of these kind of official releases happen. You start to get in that mindset of like Shimmering Skies or going to this party, like all these, all the colors and everything, they start to make sense. I'm like, okay, like I'm kind of getting there. And then I saw a couple of screenshots on Twitter. I went to Reddit and I found someone who posted some additional pictures on Facebook. So here's where I think it's very important to mention. These cards have not been confirmed, to my knowledge, of any official channels. Okay. Now, when we look at this Mufasa card, which I think this card is gorgeous, it is my favorite artwork of any Lorcana card thus far. I think that this card is just going to be like the chase of the set. We kind of needed a chase for the set, and I am all in on Shimmering Skies after seeing this card. I think it is an awesome artwork, awesome character. They just did an amazing job. You can see that it is index of 217 out of 204. We go back and look at our card list here. You can see that 217 has not been revealed yet. So that makes me feel good that they are real. The reason why I'm questioning it is because someone says that they were posted over a month ago. So I received these pictures from a guy who wanted to sell me these about a month ago or so. So that's like, it makes it seem to me like they were fake. But someone mentioned like that they probably stole like an uncut sheet, and cut them up, and that's why they kind of look like they're not the best quality. Like if you look at the top, like you can see some kind of like poor cutting there. The bottom looks like it's cut, but at the end of the day, I think that if this card is real and this is the art, and this is what we're going to get, I think this is one of the best cards that they've ever released. I think everything about it checks all the boxes. This will absolutely be one that I will be adding to my collection, no doubt about it. Very, very excited for this card. And once again, as soon as I saw this one, it was my sentiment was definitely down yesterday. Start to get more reveals. I kind of get to like a 50-50 point, and then I see the three cards that we looked at here, and I'm like, nope, full gas, no stop. We are all in. So Mufasa, obviously one of them, and then the other two that were revealed is Vanellope and Snow White. Glad that we did get a princess. This would be the first set that didn't have any sort of like princess power in it. So I'm glad we got one. I'm counting Ursula in set 3, not necessarily a princess, but she was kind of a big iconic chase. We do get Snow White here. I think this art is fantastic. Glad that we do get a princess. I'm glad that Snow White gets her second. I think that her first enchanted is incredibly slept on. I'm curious to see if this Snow White, if it is real, and the art, obviously this is a pretty low quality image, if it is real and the art looks good in person and it pops. I wonder if these new style of enchanteds, the Shimmering Skies style, we'll call them, if like this could pass her original enchanted. I think the Well Wisher card, her first enchanted, is a beautiful artwork. I think it's incredibly slept on. I'm curious. I know a lot of people like the new enchanted style that we're seeing here. I'm curious if that leads to a higher market price on this card, because so far we haven't seen any of the duplicate enchanteds get anywhere near the originals, or let's call them the first edition enchanteds, if you will, for a specific character. So I'm curious if this might be our first one where that first Snow White, which its market price is pretty cheap. I think it's down in like the $120 to $150 range, if I'm not mistaken. This might be 130 is lowest listing right now, market price of 151. This might be the first card that passes that. We also have the Vanellope, which we know there's going to be like racers in the set, and Wreck-It Ralph is one of the kind of main IPs, I guess you could say, for this particular release for Shimmering Skies. So glad to see that she got one. This was kind of assumed whenever we saw that she had a legendary, or whenever we saw her first card. I can't remember if it's a legendary or not. This was one that we kind of figured would be an enchanted. Makes a lot of sense, and at the end of the day, I think that it's a very, very cool art once again. So really, like these three, between these two and the Mufasa, these are my three favorite enchantments for Shimmering Skies thus far, and they have not been released yet. So we go back and look at the card list here on LorcanaPlayer.com. We have 205, which is where the alt arts begin. We have no 206. When we look at these picks, they're 217. This might be 206, kind of hard to tell, and then we can't see Snow White, but let's just go ahead and count what we don't have. We don't have 206, we have 207, 208, we don't have 209, we don't have 216, 217, possibly Mufasa, we don't have 220, and then we don't have anything after 222 if there's more enchanted locations, maybe somewhere in this range. But at the end of the day, we're still missing, 5 or 6 cards. 3 of these being maybe the ones that we see here that are possibly like stolen from the factory, or some weird way of acquisition, we'll say. But that leaves still some more to go, right? So we might have some more really, really cool artworks. I think they're kind of saving the best for last to kind of build up hype, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think they're doing a good job. And overall, I'm very, very excited for Shimmering Skies. So I've completely shifted. The first ones, I do think that some of these are going to be incredibly cheap in terms of like if you were to pull them and sell them. I think that they're going to be pretty cheap. Like King Candy Sweet Abomination. Like I don't think this card is the coolest card ever. Definitely not one that I would really even care to collect, to be completely honest. Now, if it's playable, then it's going to have a decent premium, but just one that I saw that like isn't that collectible. And the same goes for like the Archimedes, the Revive, even Prince Naveen. I know that card's super playable, so it's gonna be collected too. But at the end of the day, there just were a lot of cards that are not something that I was on the lookout for until I saw some of the cards released, like the Scar and the You're Welcome, and then we get the Mufasa, the Snow White, and the Vanellope. I'm all in, right? And so that was really cool to see. Hopefully the remaining cards are as cool as these. I'm very, very optimistic, and I cannot wait. I mean, look, we're 8 days out now, right? Today is Thursday, the 1st of August. We're 8 days out before we get the next set. So cheers. Hopefully we get some more reveals over the coming days. Hopefully we get an official Mufasa, Snow White, and Vanellope announcement soon, so that way we can confirm that these are real and not some sort of like knockoff, someone trying to scam on Facebook. That's definitely a possibility, but I lean towards the fact that they're probably real, because I mean, look, Team Rocket's always out there trying to get some free tendies, but at the end of the day, that would be impressive even on scammers' part if they were able to get ahead of the game that far and have these a month ago like that. It feels like it would have had to come from the facility, but who knows. So that's where we're at for Shimmering Skies. And I think this is just a good, kind of seeing these enchanteds and seeing the artwork and really kind of falling back in love with some of these new characters and new arts. It just got me feeling like the Lorcana just vibes couldn't be any higher right now. I just feel like there is so much, really everything is going in the right direction. Like there's still, like I said, I still wish there was no enchanted locations, and I still wish there were other pulls apart from just enchanteds. I wish there were other things in the pack that you could pull that weren't necessarily as hard, but still had some unique art, whether that's on some of the legendaries or super rares, etc. I wish there were some different art types. But at the end of the day, I think that for a company that's been doing this for less than a year, I feel like Ravensburger is setting the standard so high of what a trading card game can be and what it should be. They've connected with the biggest IP in the world to do so, and I just feel like they are absolutely crushing it. All of the challenge events are selling out. I checked on the event in Italy today. It is sold out now. So this event is happening in a couple days here on Saturday of this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, It is sold out. This one is if you remember, I'd made a video wondering kind of what's going on here. But it did end up selling out. That'll be this weekend. So good luck to everyone who is going to that event and traveling to that event. Safe travels. In combination, we know obviously all of the events in North America have sold out immediately. Whether it was the Dallas event that just happened, the Toronto event that's coming up, the Vegas event that's coming up. I mean, there's quite literally not enough tickets to go around, even at a 2,048 player cap. Just extremely significant. I can't, in the same vein, like just like playing the game with anyone, like all of my friends in real life we have not played card games since like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh 15 years ago. Everyone that plays this game, we've instantly been hooked. We were not in the hobby. We were not playing games. We weren't even looking to play the game. Like, we seriously just joined it because the cards look cool. Started reading about the mechanics a little bit. Started seeing the game. Obviously used Pixelborn. And now we're, like, fully entrenched, like, battling on webcam every night just amongst friends. That's been insane. So I think the mechanics are awesome. The game itself just feels so simple but so complex at the same time. The events are selling out. I think they're doing a fantastic job with the production of these cards in terms of the print quantity. I know it's a very hot topic. I get a comment on like every video of like, these cards are print. Literally, I got one this week that said the cards are printed to hell. These are all worthless. And it's like, people who say stuff like that, it's like, okay, well, why is the first chapter that's been reprinted to hell, restocked to hell, constantly hitting the market? Why is it back up to $240 again already? Like, the demand for these cards is so high that yes, they are printed a lot. Yes, there are a lot of them out there. At the end of the day, there's more demand. And that's why that price is continuing to go up, right? And so Ravensburger is doing a good job of making sure that, look, they can't control the secondhand market. They can't control what the prices are going to be, but they at least are putting enough out there to try and meet that demand as much as possible. And at the end of the day, the secondary market's going to do what it will, but they've done their part in terms of at least making sure there was a good enough quantity out there to quench that demand enough, and then it's going to slowly start to trickle up over time. So I think they're doing a fantastic job in terms of printing to demand there. Starting to see the same thing with Rise of the Floodborn, getting back up to MSRP. Inklings is trending in the same direction. We've seen a couple really good sales on Amazon with that set here as of late. I think people are just trying to get out of the product. We're kind of moving on. We're past Ursula's Return now, right? Getting into Shimmering Skies. So they're kind of ready to be done with Into the Inklings. So they kind of did an offload. Anytime they do it, it's been bought up immediately. Might I add that whenever you can get an Inklings box at like $85, it's incredibly plus EV. I was fortunate enough to pull 2 enchanteds out of the 2 boxes I got. And they were both the Along Came Zeus card, which recently has had like a buyout or some sort of manipulation there because it's up to like $150. But at the end of the day, I think that they're just doing so much right from a print quantity perspective. I get the collector in us. We all wish there was one box and I pulled the only Elsa and no one else has one. But at the end of the day, the thing that makes this trading card game space fun and why we all fell in love with it when we were kids is because you're able to share this, connection with people. The more people that have the cards, sure, there might be a little bit less value overall, but at the end of the time, it's more fun. There's a bigger community, more readily available, and I think that the more the cards are available, the more likely that someone's going to get into the game, maybe try it, begin to collect it, play it, etc. Just more people coming into the atmosphere. They're doing an amazing job with the art, right? We talked about the Mufasa. Some of the first chapter, second set, third set, fourth set, like they have amazing artworks. They're doing a good job. They have commissioned some very, very strong artists to come in and do these cards, which is fantastic. I love the idea that there's a little bit more creative freedom for these artists as well. They're going to all sorts of like signing events, Disney events. They're going to just like trading card conventions, doodle on the cards, sign the cards. Like that's awesome. There's not as strict as stipulations on some of that stuff as there is with other trading card games, which I think is really really cool to see. Hopefully, I'm able to get out to an event at some point and get some of my cards Googled on or doodled on. I think that another thing that Lorcana has going for it, just to kind of do like a dump here of like so many things going in the right direction, it's the only English first and English produced trading card game. Right? Every other trading card game, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's One Piece, whether it's Yu-Gi-Oh, they're all produced overseas. Magic would be the caveat there. It's produced by Wizards here in the States. So I shouldn't say only, but it's one of the only. to rephrase that. All the other trading card games, especially when you think like Pokemon, which is probably the closest comparison in terms of just like iconic IP, family first, like the same kind of vibe I would say between Lorcana and Pokemon. Lorcana being an English first company, while they are expanding to overseas markets like Japan and China, it is an English first company, and I think that that bodes well for us, the English consumers. When you look at a trading card game like Pokemon, you see all these really cool cards coming out of Japan. They get these unique artworks. They get Master Balls in 151. They get these really cool promos and collabs between Mario and Pikachu and all these different things. Like that stuff doesn't happen on the English side of things. We kind of get told what you get, and they roll it out, and that's it. There's not a lot of really cool artworks that are like constantly happening over in Japan, like there are in America for like exclusive like promo type stuff. Ravensburger and Disney being an English first company, I think it does bode well for us, English speaking consumers, to have a trading card game that's focused on us, right? Expand and go wherever you want, but the fact that it's an America first company, or not, an English first, I misspoke there, English first company, right, between Europe and America, I think that is it's a benefit. They've given their artists a lot of creative freedom, right? There's not a lot of restrictions on what they can do. They've came up with just some amazing artworks, and I think overall I'm just very excited for Lorcana, right? All these new artworks with the Mufasa and the Snow White and the things that have been leaked, right, assuming they're real, has just kind of like reinvigorated me a little bit. Not that I necessarily needed it, but it's just, once again, you take a step back and think about the total addressable market that they have. Between Ravensburger being a 100-year-old company, they are very prominent in the toy and board game industry. They've got a very long-standing track record of success there. All their market combined with the Disney market, which is the biggest market in the world, coming together to create this trading card game that is, in my opinion, it still feels like it's under a rock. Like, I just feel like not that many people know about it yet. I feel like so many people in the trading card game space have just kind of pushed it to the side and written it off. But at the end of the day, the longer that that it's around, and the more of these regional challenge events happen, then we get into nationals and worlds in 2025. Like, there is the amount of hype and attention that it's going to get. It's going to be really cool for those of us that are here now, to see it grow and to be a part of it. So overall, to end a 20-minute rant on why I'm so excited about Lorcana, I truly could not be more excited. I've completely flipped the script on Shimmering Skies. I think that it's going to be an amazing set, and at the end of the day, I'm just very excited to continue to build my collection and see what comes from here for Lorcana. Cannot wait for some like national events. I feel like it's going to be incredibly exciting. Hopefully we can get out to some of those, especially like worlds. Like, man, that would be an insane, just so much hype around that. Like, I truly would that'd be like dreams coming true there. A worlds event and all sorts of like collectors and stuff. Like, man, that would be sick. With that being said, guys, I'm going to end today's video here. Let me know in your comments down below if you think these are real. I feel like they probably are. Obviously, they were obtained in a sketchy manner, probably. And if so, let me know what your thoughts are of the artwork. I personally, if I had to pick one card, previously it would probably either be from a pure artwork perspective. I really love the Aurora from the first chapter. I really like Rockstar Stitch, but this would probably be my favorite artwork to date. I think this card is gorgeous. I think the colors pop. It's like a new foil type format, possibly. Obviously, an iconic character, right? 90s kid, grew up with Lion King, seen the show live. I'm very excited for the Mufasa live action movie that's coming out. But this is probably my favorite card in Lorcana. assuming it is number 217 and it's coming out here with us in Shimmering Skies, which I would definitely think it is. So with that being said, guys, let me know what you think about these new reveals. Let me know what you think about these new artworks, and overall, how are you feeling about Lorcana at the current moment? Do you share the same sentiment as I do in terms of all these events selling out, the constant growth, the supply of the product, etc., or do you have a more bearish take on maybe not a fan of the new artworks and where the game's going? I would love to hear either side of that discussion, wherever your opinion does land. So with that being said, guys, we're going to get out of here. We'll be back with another video soon.